Hey nerds, Bevan here, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the third time I am trying to make this goddamn video. If this was any other video, I would have given up and just done something else and moved on with my life. But I promised I was going to review Beauty and the Beast, and that is what I'm going to do. So yes, I finally saw Beauty and the Beast, and yes, I loved it. I thought it was amazing, and it was wonderful, and it was beautiful, and I liked the songs, I liked the characters, and I thought it was a great movie. As soon as that first song hit, This Provincial Life, I knew that they had nailed it. I knew that this movie, throughout the whole thing, was going to be great, and it was. I thought Emma Watson as Belle was absolutely wonderful. I've seen some conflicting opinions on the internet about how she's too different from the original Belle, how she's not vulnerable enough. I can see that point. I don't necessarily agree with it. I can definitely see the point. I thought Emma Watson played the character beautifully. I thought she was great. I thought she was perfect in that depiction of Belle, because again, this is just an adaptation. If they had done a shot-for-shot remake, those same people would have complained about that. So I'm not really too worried about differing opinions other than myself. I love the movie. That's really all that matters to me. I thought Luke Evans as Gaston was hilarious. I thought he played a really nuanced character. How he had to show that hint of fear before covering it up with his macho-ness. You know, when he walked into the pub that one night and Maurice was there. Oh, by the way, spoilers for the rest of this review. But he walked in and Maurice was there after he had left him to be eaten by wolves, and he was like, "Maurice, we've been looking for you!" When I said that, I felt like that was a pretty good impression of Gaston. I guess I'll know more when I go and edit this video. The show stealer for me, though, was Ewan McGregor as Lumiere. And the best part about that is because I love Ewan McGregor, but I didn't even know it was him. Even after he turned back into a human being, at the end of the movie, I was like, who dat? But like, I didn't realize it was Ewan McGregor, which was fantastic. And when I found out after the movie that it was, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. They stayed pretty true to the animated version of this movie for the most part. You know, some small changes here and there. They extended some songs. But a couple of the bigger changes were just adding backstory to each Belle and Beast and kind of explaining how they got to where they are. With Belle, it didn't add a lot to the character. It just kind of showed the strength of the relationship with her father. It showed why that relationship is so important and why each of them is willing to sacrifice a life in prison for the other one. And like, that's a really good, you know, bond to have. That's a really good background information to have for those two characters. But when it came to Beast and you got his background story with his mother also dying, you really build sympathy for that character. And more than the animated version, it shows why. It's a really good starting point as to why Belle would show any remorse for this character, show any compassion for this character, show any affection for this character. Because she's given the information that his mother died when he was very young. He was raised by his, I don't think they say abusive father, but the father was a piece of shit who raised Beast to grow up into a piece of shit. There are a couple aspects of the movie I'm not a huge fan of, and not necessarily for the reasons you would think. There is the controversy surrounding the character of LeFou, who is, in this movie, is portrayed as a gay character who has a crush, has an attraction to Gaston, even though Gaston really does treat him like a piece of garbage. And then in the final battle, LeFou kind of switches sides. He realizes that Gaston is a piece of trash. He realizes that Gaston is a horrible human being, so he decides to fight with furniture against the villagers. One of the pieces of furniture, I believe it was the feather duster, I could be wrong though, tells him, "It's okay, honey, you're too good for him." And that's kind of the payoff of the whole 2 hours of him trying to get some affection out of Gaston and failing. when really there should have been more payoff to that. I would have loved to have seen LeFou punch Gaston in the face for being a jerk to him for all those months or years or however long they've, been friends for. That's kind of my issue with it. There just wasn't payoff. I know a lot of people are upset about the exclusive gay moment that wasn't at all really a gay moment. I guess before the movie had released, Disney had promised an exclusive gay moment with the character LeFou, but really all that led to was him having a 1-second shot of him dancing with another man, and that's really about it. And I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding that. That is not my personal issue. My personal issue is that LeFou should have punched Gaston in the face, or told him off, or anything other than just switching sides behind his back. The other issue I have is the character of the hag, or the enchantress, depending on your point of view of her. But the woman who puts the curse upon Beast and that household kind of like lives just outside the village where Belle and Maurice live, and she sticks around for the whole movie. She saves Maurice from the wolves that Gaston had previously left him to be eaten by. And I don't recall her ever having a line of dialogue in this movie, even though she was like fairly featured. Like, she was like mentioned and shown on camera, and like other characters acknowledge her existence. So it's not like she was just like some background extra or anything like that. She's, part of the movie, she's part of the village, she's part of everyday life there. But then in the final battle, when the last petal falls off the rose and Beast is dying from his wounds from his fight with Gaston, and all the furniture is losing their humanity and turning into furniture and losing all their life, she just kind of like walks through the battle and then goes and touches the glass case containing the rose, and the curse goes away. Meanwhile, she's literally 12 feet from Belle and Beast, and Belle's crying because Beast is dead, and this woman just like walks up, touches the thing, and Belle doesn't notice it, doesn't care. The woman never says anything. She disappears after that. Like, it was really confusing. There was no payoff. I would have loved for her to, explain why she's reverting the curse back. Oh, she can see the humanity in Beast. He's clearly an okay person at heart. These people don't deserve to be turned into fucking furniture, but there was nothing. It may seem like I'm more passionate about the bad parts of this movie than I am about the good things about this movie, but when I go on these rants, when I'm already worked up because these videos aren't recording properly for me, when you go on a rant, you're gonna get worked up. But really, in the big picture, those two things I mentioned as being negatives are very small parts of the movie. But when you're talking about songs and characters and backstory and plot, those are the big aspects of a movie, and those aspects were done really, really well in this movie. So overall, this movie's great. I love this movie. I like what Disney is doing and taking their classic animated movies from past generations and turning them into live action movies for today's generations. It's not the same as just re-releasing Beauty and the Beast on Blu-ray for the 7th time, but let's just make a new version for a new generation to pass on to their kids and their kids and their kids. So those are my thoughts on this movie. I want to know what you think. I know this video is super late. I know I promised to review Beauty and the Beast as my March movie, and now it's fucking April 11th, or whatever the date is today. And I'm super late with this video, but it's out. It would have been out a few days ago, but technology is only awesome when it works, guys. If you like this video, hit that like button, because the more people that like it, the more people that see it. Please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bevan Boychuk. And until next time, folks, I am out like a light.